So, Ash, we're back after a great hiatus.
Great. Well, definitely. How do you define a hiatus, first of all?
I don't know. I just sort of used the word.
Is it just an agreed upon break without saying that you've broken up? Is that what a hiatus is?
Yeah, I think that is what it is. That's not really what happened.
Not at all.
There was intention to record a pod every month since the 28th of October, when we last posted.
Yeah, 3 months ago.
Some of you guys might have been thinking maybe this was just an initial wind of energy? I don't know, to do a pod, and they've given up.
Well, the initial wind was definitely there. That's true. But life happens, as some would say. And some do say that. It's funny. I've been thinking, wow, has it really been 3 months? And I even said to you, what has even happened? And then I realized, good Lord, so much has happened, in my life, in the world. We're now in 2025, people. 2025, time to thrive is what I say.
Amen.
What's going on in our lives? I'd like to know. I mean, you and I have spoken a lot in the last 3 months, so it's not like everything's entirely new, but there are some things that we have not made one another privy to. We had a minus 22 day. I'd just like everyone in Australia to know that. Have you ever been in minus 22 degrees? I have. I actually decided to skip school that day because I was like, it's too cold, I'm Australian. But then I decided to go down just in my slides to get snacks. And I was like, well, I got to experience it somehow. And yeah, it was cold. That was the conclusion I came to. I was like, yep, it's cold. That's how cold it is.
Well, an update from Sydney right now is that the storm has just hit, Ash.
Oh, yes.
The storm that was at Box Hill with the
golf-sized hailstones.
that hit your aunt. It has just arrived. And so...
The hailstones didn't hit my aunt, personally, in body or possessions. Is there hail?
Not yet. But maybe that might mean that on my end there's like a hum of a storm in the background of this pod. So I just thought I'd flag that for the listeners.
Well, guys, I'm missing storms. Like, I've lived here 6 months. I've not seen or heard a single storm.
Wow.
And I'm from Australia. I'm from Sydney, people. It's just a normal part of life. I want a storm, at least once a month. But not a single one. And so sometimes I do put on my rain sounds or like the rumble of thunder on a playlist and fall asleep to that. There's something, I don't know, very Australian about it. I think of that song, Who's It By? I'm clicking in the beat already.
Gangajang?
Out on the patio. That one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Watching the lightning crack over cane fields.
Laugh and think.
This is Australia.
You got to finish it. You can't not sing the This is Australia. Australia is great in lots of ways. I've been enjoying Korea a bit here. The minus 22, not so much. Even less so, overnight martial law. Just to bring things in, what a segue.
You got to live under military dictatorship.
Yes.
You can say that you did.
I never thought about it until this moment. Look, my sister was here. It was late in the evening. Typically, we'd been so busy each day, we were asleep by like 9 p.m. But this particular night, we were not. And it was maybe 11:30. We were kind of getting ready to go to bed. I said, oh, just so you know, I've just learned that there is now martial law in effect. She's like, what the heck is that? I was like, look, not sure, gonna ask ChatGPT. So I did. Turns out it really means nothing. It really means nothing for me right now. It said maybe some of my freedoms will be restricted, like maybe I'll have a curfew. And I was like, honestly, it sounds like the dream. Anyway, I said to her, let's go to sleep. It'll be over soon. We wake up and it's finished hours ago. That's how quick this thing was done. I was like, this guy, goodness me. So we're not going to have a full conversation about the politics of the idea because a lot could be said and nothing really from any expert knowledge, just an opinion piece, which I don't think is really what people want to hear. I felt for my Korean friends and I felt particularly nervous about the potential response from the North. That's the only thing I thought about on the day. Sure enough, the North did nothing. What's been new in Sydney? Any military dictatorships over there?
No, I'd say no. I'd say no.
But would others say no? That's the question.
I mean, we've had Christmas, New Year, Australia Day, we've had all of that. since we last podded. So how was your Christmas, Ash? How was Christmas in Korea?
Look, Christmas in Korea definitely depends on what you want out of Christmas. I realised I've spent a few Christmases in Korea. Only once did it snow and did we get a white Christmas. That was a couple of years ago. And look, snow's fine, guys. It's not the magical dust that everyone thinks it is. Really what I see is an invitation for all manner of humiliation and slipping and sliding and cracking of tailbones and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So New Year's was fun because churches do lots of things New Year's. Got to spend time with friends. I had a friend from Australia over during that time. But look, it was then just over. It was just over. And I realised, yeah, everyone gets a bit of a post-New Year's slump because it's like, oh yeah, we've kind of had a week of like the Christmas, New Year's hype and yeah, all the things are happening. But then you kind of get like oh yeah, okay, it's a bit less eventful now. But in Australia, you've still got your summer, a relaxing beach time, getting ready for the new year. And you always kind of think normal life only really resumes after Australia Day. That's what it feels like. Korea, it's just like, oh, it's a day, now it's done. Get back to work. It's also cold and dark. And people don't want to be outside. They don't want to do fun things. Everyone's depressed. I'm not going to lie. We're all depressed over here right now. You could probably argue that that happens all the time. But particularly in winter, it's just like drab, you know. It's a long winter here, guys. It's kind of from like November through to March. But it made me realize, yeah, I'm very thankful to be in the church because it would just be so boring without the people of God. For better or worse, but usually for worse, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nothing like the dead of winter to bring on existential angst.
Yeah, honestly.
All that Russian literature and Russian poetry is so,
mate.
so deep. It's like they just got like...
They're perpetually angsty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it. So
that's why we Australians are so shallow.
That's fine with me, honestly. And some would say ignorance is bliss as well. So what about Christmas in Australia? Was anything particularly exciting? I did see Robbie Williams performing on TV when we watched it at church. They were like, is this guy Australian? And I was like, I don't know why I said that in a very Aussie accent. No one speaks English there and no one speaks English in that much of an ochre accent. They were like, is this guy Australian? And I said, definitely not. Only one person even knew who he was. And that's what made you and I realise really only Brits and Aussies know who Robbie Williams is, which you love Robbie. I think he's talented. He kind of creeps me out. But look, I don't know the man. I'm sure he's kind. That's fine. You've seen him as a monkey recently.
You need to watch his biopic to discover what sort of man he is.
Well, what kind of monkey he is.
When I was watching the biopic, I thought Ash's description of Robbie is exactly Robbie's description of Robbie. Like, it just is.
Great.
And I think that's one of the things which is probably why he popped off is the only phrase that's coming to my mind.
He's a greasy dude.
We're okay with that as long as it's authentic. If you haven't seen it, you might not like it, but I think it was great. The more time passes between when I watched it by myself in the cinema, because not many other people want to watch it.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a plug there for Better Man. If you are in any way open to Robbie Williams.
Or even just film, because it sounds
monkey.
like maybe you have no idea who this guy is. Apparently, film-wise, it was quite well made. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and the critics say that it was good. If you like musicals, you're going to like it.
Oh, I didn't realise it was a musical. I also feel like just because I mentioned that he was a monkey, we probably can't leave that unaddressed.
Well, apparently I heard an interview of him talking about it. It was just the director, who's the same director as The Greatest Showman, which is why it's really good. And I can't believe we're spending so much time on the pod talking about it.
So much will be cut out, Mon. Don't even worry about it. And I mean, you should worry about it. You're the one editing, but I'm not concerned.
And he says to Robbie Williams, what's your spirit animal? Because he's got this idea to make him a CGI animal. And Robbie Williams says, lion. And he's like, nah. And he says monkey. And he's like, that could work. And then even Robbie Williams says that he watched it and it made sense. That's what my mum said. My mum said, you forget about the monkey. For some reason, it makes sense. And that's what happened to me. Like, it makes sense. And then Robbie Williams says, but no one can put their finger on why it makes sense, but it just does make sense. And I think that's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel.
So Monkey Robbie, does speak, right? As in, like, it's him being Robbie. It's just he's a monkey.
Yeah, There's no monkey like mannerisms or
No
anything.
monkey business.
Yeah, and the young guy who plays him, who's been CGI defied, is incredibly talented. But like, obviously, no one knows what he looks like or who he is because it's CGI monkeyed. And I cried twice, like proper cried. It was really moving. Robbie himself, I'm definitely going to cut all this, but Robbie himself was saying that people in my stage of career, we have to keep ourselves relevant. So this movie's really important for me.
Real.
I'm doing this to stay famous.
Yeah.
He was just so plain about it.
Yeah.
And you know, today, everyone, you're not going to hear this probably. He still has the title of the most #1 albums in the UK by any solo artist. Mm-hmm. And today, he equaled with the Beatles.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Which means that if he gets another #1 album, he is the
top.
GOAT.
All time.
Yeah, of all time.
The GOAT of all time.
Can you believe that?
The greatest of all time of all time.
If we keep any of this part of the pod is purely for Susie. This is Susie. This is for
You're welcome.
Susie. You're welcome, Susie. We spent some time in the pod talking about Robbie Williams. It's for you. We love you.
And now that we've mentioned Susie, which people may or may not have heard because it's cut out of the pod, you and I, with our friend Susie and a lot of other friends, would every year do a beach mission, which would run over New Year's. The krill? Yeah, I just have memory of the glow-in-the-dark krill. I feel like that was one of the memorable New Year's Eves for me. We just walked in the dark down to one of the bays and there was glow-in-the-dark krill. And I was like, this is disgusting, but it's really cool to see. People were like, ooh, wade around in it. And I was like, I'm not going to wade around in the krill. That's gross. But I'll throw a stick at it and watch it move.
I don't think they're actually krill. I think it's like some sort of plankton. I think we just called it the krill.
Yeah, I don't know why I'd believe
because of Finding Nemo.
In that.
Because of Finding Nemo. You know that bit where it's like, the krill.
The krill. Susie, our friend, would be there. This brings us even full circle back to the fact that it's currently storming in Sydney.
It is.
I miss a good storm. At Windang, if it stormed, boy, did it storm.
Yeah.
And there was a particular storm, we call it the storm of 2015. And it's because it was the storm.
Yeah.
Not just of 2015, but like you have to remember when the storm was and you say, oh, it's 2015. Early 2015, because it's like the 2014 to 2015 kind of period. If anyone's been to a beach mission or even just heard of it or seen photos, you'll know that a lot of these teams set up ginormous tents. The biggest one is usually like the main area where lots of the meetings happen or like kids' games or whatever. You've also got quite a big tent for your dining hall, so to speak, where you'll eat your food and things. And then you've, of course, got your tents for residents, so to speak.
By big tents, think circus tents.
That's right. We're not talking a camping tent. We're talking like canvas
poles.
Industrial. The women's tent was definitely the biggest tent I've slept in. I had a good corner. Me and Susie had a corner to ourselves. It was delightful. It was not too far from the door, but not so close that, oh no, I'm getting changed. Don't open the door. It was also like easy access to the food at the dining tent. We enjoyed it until the storm of 2015. And Monique, you say you don't remember too much of this. I don't remember if we were together necessarily. I remember I was sitting in the dining tent. It must have been free time or something. I think I was talking about Galatians with like Sam Conway and someone else. Do you remember where you were when the storm began?
I think I was in that tent as well. I'm relying on your telling and it will bring back memories and I am so excited to remember this. I have this thing in my brain where I can file away very well and it's very hard to bring things out of that filing cabinet. But I remember when it came to holding a pole down, mine was the dining tent.
Yeah.
I was holding that down.
Yeah. Well,
so I can't remember where I was, but
that's fine, Monique,
around
because
there.
I have plenty of things to fill in your memory. Because you don't
so
remember
excited.
this, but the dining pole tent was not the only pole that you held down.
Oh.
And I'm surprised you don't remember a particular moment.
I will.
So I specifically remember as well, I was wearing, this is relevant, particularly later in the story. I was wearing these shorts that I really used to love a lot, just like linen, kind of like a light baby blue kind of shorts. My shirt would have been a random, I can't actually remember what the shirt was, but I remember it wasn't white. And I remember that because I was thinking, thank goodness I'm not wearing a white t-shirt if the rain gets on me. Keep this in mind for later on in the story. So we start hearing the wind, but it's windang. They call it windang. This isn't a joke, people. Windang is called windang because it's dang windy, right? This is like a funnel for all the wind in the world at this place. And what's it? Oh gosh, I'm the worst person in the world. Our guy who has the same birthday as you, he was the maintenance dude for the tents. Jared. I was like, Jared, okay? With a YD at the end. I remember that much.
Yeah.
Jared was also in charge of kind of making sure that we were safe, but also that the tents were looked after and that we put them in well, that it would withstand strong winds, all that kind of stuff. So we start to hear the wind and we're like, oh yeah, look, it's getting a bit dark out there, but like this is windang, okay. Then it's starting to rain. We're like, okay, yep, everyone brings in their washing, you know, it's fine. We're just got to stay indoors now. And then, as is the case for most storms in Australia, which I learned recently that British people are not familiar with, it can decide to just like patter and then pour within a second. And that's essentially what happened. And it wasn't just rain. It was rain and wind. And it was just insane.
Insane.
And at that point, it was just the rain and the wind. And it's starting to blow a gale and all of our tents are really, it's being tested, right?
Yeah.
And that's when because this dining tent actually had it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Multiple,
really
like
long.
5 or 6 meters high at its highest point. It's huge and it's really long. And so it's got many, many poles along the sides. Most of us had to come to the dining tent and hold a pole on the side to try and keep things down. In that, everyone's getting soaked, okay? Because essentially it's the wall, the wind and the rain. Even if you're near a wall, the wind and the rain's getting down the sides and you're starting to get wet and cold already. It's in the middle of summer, but because of the wind and the rain, it was cold, right? We're all holding down these things and it's getting crazy. Like, I'm like, guys, I don't know what we're going to do. And then we look through the end right towards where our women's tent is, right where Susie and I were so keen to be, so close. And our corner of that women's tent has completely uprooted, flying around in the air. Yeah. Mine and Susie's beds, clothes, bags, everything in the pouring rain, just like flailing about. And we were like, no! And so some of us ran over to that one. And then because the whole corner of the women's tent came up, it actually then made a huge lever for the wind to try and lift up the rest of the tent. And so we all then, lots of us run to this. Now, as we run outside, I go, good Lord, that's not rain. That's hail. I'm getting pelted with hail. And it hurts. It hurts a lot to be pelted with hail and in that wind. And even if it wasn't hail, even just the speed of that wind with the rain, I don't know if you've ever been, like I've been surfing once when that storm came and the wind with the sand and the rain, it pierces you. It's like it's a million little pellets like bulleting into you. It hurts so much. We're soaked, obviously. We've run out. We're soaked to the core. You, dear Monique, you've run to a corner with our friend Rachel, tall, beautiful, blonde-haired woman. Now, Monique's also not short, right? In fact, I'd say you're definitely tall for a woman. And so we've got two tall women both on one corner. And at this point, our mate Jared is stressed, but he's got his cap on of like, command, you do this, you do that. I've never really seen him like this. He was stressed, but in full action mode, right? He's like trying to like tell people to do things. I'm flailing, trying to like save mine and Susie's stuff. Monique and Rachel are lifted into the air. Do you not remember this, Monique?
I do.
You were lifted into the air. Now, I'm not talking like, oh my gosh, they were thrown in like a tornado 5 meters high. But you were lifted like at least a good 50 centimeters off the ground. The two of you together. That's how insane this storm was. I think I'm on a freaking like, you know, commander ship. I'm just like, and I'm screaming. I'm like, Jesus! Jesus, stop the storm. I was like, you can stop it with a word. Don't you care if we die? I was saying all the things that our sailors said, you know? And so this is crazy. And I still remember going, I was scared. I was like, who is this man? Jared runs over to you guys. This pole has just lifted both women up in the air. He was already holding down one thing with one arm. He wraps it around. He grabs the other pole and the rope with other arm. Yeah. He lifts it because the middle pole has started to slant. And if that middle pole in the center goes, we're all done for. He lifts this like 5-meter pole, and with one arm, he like lion roars and is like, "Ugh!" and like lifts the whole tent. It was like flipping Samson in this place. It was like Samson. I'm not even kidding. I was like, this man has got supernatural strength from the Lord. There's no way. He pulls the tent back up. We try to scramble, literally. And I'm still like, Jesus, save us! Literally, 20 seconds later, it stops. And I don't know if you recall this, but as soon as it started, it stopped. The sun comes through the clouds. It was like it was making a mockery of us. It was bright as can be. It was a lovely, bright, sunny day. The birds are chirping. And I was like, thanks, Jesus. Thanks for saying the word. Couldn't have come a little earlier, but you still saved us. We then are like trying to gather ourselves. Everyone, I look like a drowned rat, okay? Everyone's just, trying to gather themselves. A poor friend of ours, I can't even remember who it was, but a poor woman's like, well, I'm wearing a white shirt, so I'm just going to go change. And I'm thinking, good grief, aren't I lucky that I didn't wear a white shirt? And then I think, but today is the one day that I wore the only bright pair of underwear that I have. Bright pink underwear. And my light blue linen shorts have soaked to the skin. And I'm a beacon of hope.
I've got an image.
A bright pink
I remember
beacon.
it now.
Yep. And I think, well, I'm also going to change, everyone. Thank you for your service. I'm not even going to try and hide. We've all seen the worst of each other by now. After that, I feel like Jared was just like, when a man's just shook and you don't really, he just needs a moment. And incredibly, I don't think we had too much I feel like there was one thing that needed mending. But incredibly, I don't think we had too much damage apart from mine and Susie's stuff all getting soaked.
I now remember so much from that storm. As you were saying it, it was all playing in my mind. Like a movie was playing back, like a first person.
Yeah.
I can remember Jared as clear as day.
Seriously, I was like, this is a man on a mission. He's going to keep.
And then afterwards, it must have been all the adrenaline. Like he was just like.
That's right. Well, that's what I said. I was like, there's nothing other than, and that's when I was like, the human body is a marvel. I was like, seriously, like the adrenaline we all had, but then for this man who was in charge of safety and well-being for the humans and the possessions on that camp, he just was like, not on my watch. And then it was like, I'm going to like, with my one arm, just like lift this entire tent. Because I don't think, we're talking a pole, again, think circus tent. Like the pole width itself, because it's this giant wooden plank, is probably the width of like where your knee is, right? Like at least, maybe bigger. And so it's not, a twig or like one of those poles of a tent that you go camping with. Yeah, and it was tall. It was 4 or 5 meters high in the center of the tent. Yeah. So it's heavy, Imagine just having a single rope tied to one end and you standing on the other and trying to lift with one arm that entire pole. It would have been, and in that wind and stuff, it's just so heavy. So
that's true.
There you go.
Sometimes in the movies when things like that happen, you think, oh, that's unrealistic. I tell you guys, it's not. Yeah. It's
like
not.
When the mum lifts the car to get her baby, I'm like, she can do it. I believe it. A mother, I think no one else, like a mother with her child. I believe it. I reckon it could happen. Could happen, people. So, storm of 2015, we witnessed the Lord's might and power in many ways that day. You were lifted into the air. Jared got supernatural strength. I decided to never wear colourful underwear again. And for anyone who wants to know, that's remained true to this day. Just in case. Just in case there's another storm. Like, it's 10 years ago now. Maybe there's going to be a storm of 2025.
You've seen those reels that I sent you of those stupid young men on that ferry and almost getting washed overboard?
And the guy's face when he finally emerges, and it's like those babies who get baptized in an Orthodox church. You know, when they're like, there's too much time. They're being dunked like a Dorito, and it's like head, feet, head, feet, head, feet, and they do it 3 times, and then they're coming up, and it's like they're like too shocked. That guy, I feel like at first you didn't even know there was a guy, and then suddenly out of the bubbles, a guy comes up and is like, what just happened? What just happened? It's good.
We've just recently had Australia Day. Today is the Australia Day public holiday.
And what I've brought, the one thing I've prepared for this pod,
oh yeah,
knowing that we would attempt to record on the 27th of January, I picked out some highlights from history for us.
Oh.
And I would like you to guess. So the first one, on this day, 27th of January 2010, there was a particular invention / release of a thing that happened for the first time. I'll give you 3 guesses, and each guess I'll give you another clue.
So as the editor, I'm just going to butt in here and say that I've left a lot of the space here in this first one, just so you can see how bad I am at trivia and how painful this whole second half of the pod was for Ash. It's okay to laugh at me. I sure did.
7th of January 2010.
We're in high school, just to give away
Yeah,
our
I was in
age.
year 12. Well,
Which then makes you feel more old when you realise what this is. But anyway.
really?
Yeah, I mean, just take a stab and then I'll give you another clue and I'll be like, oh, no, it's nothing like that, or yeah, it's close.
Is it something technology?
Yes.
I got my first iPhone in 2011.
But they were
my
out
first iPhone
earlier
was
than
like-
that.
Yeah, 2007 or something.
Yeah.
2010.
Perhaps you're on a similar wavelength.
Oh. The first wireless headphones?
No, I'm pretty sure that was actually much later, believe it or not.
Oh. Believe it or not. 27th of January 2010.
You were closer with the iPhone.
So an I something.
What if I told you it's almost breaking the 4th wall right now?
Oh.
How am I calling you?
MacBook?
No.
Facebook.
No. Still the technology of the hardware. You're so close. I feel like people listening.
iPad.
Yes.
iPad.
Yes. The first iPad. And
Wow.
we've probably cut out some of that time, but it took Monique a long time, just so you know. Yes, the release of the first iPad was January 27 on this day.
Oh.
Probably not on the day that people are listening, but on this day right now, 15 years ago, which I realized, I went through my entire schooling. I mean, to be fair, I bought an iPad mini, was my first iPad type thing in 2015 when we started MTS or whatever with Campus Bible Study. That was helpful because I didn't even have a smartphone at that point. I refused to get a smartphone.
True.
And so my iPad was kind of the way that I could connect to Wi-Fi to at least receive Facebook messages from people if I needed it. So I did my whole schooling and uni and everything without an iPad, and children cannot live without them, some would say. We've also got a happy birthday to send to a person that neither of us know personally, actually. And I don't even know, I feel like you would know this person's name, but because of the way you are, you might not know his name at all.
Am I an actor?
You are an actor.
Oh, then I really probably won't be able to guess.
You will know this person's face and have seen them in some things, but you might not actually remember the name.
Am I a man?
Yes, you are a man.
Am I over 40?
Yes, today is their 60th birthday.
60th birthday should help me, but does not. Am I in any action movies?
Look, it's not like I've seen every film this guy's in. He doesn't strike me as a particularly action type vibe.
Ah.
Definitely drama though. And so perhaps
Yeah.
whatever type of action could be included in drama things.
Can you guess the two names that are in my mind?
Not at all, but I doubt that they're the person. I feel like you need a lot more questions.
But I'm just wondering if you can guess the two people in my mind.
Well, I'm thinking, who does Monique think is 60? Like Hugh Jackman or something?
They're in a film
'cause I
together.
know.
They're in a film together. One of the greatest chick flicks of all time.
Chick flick? No, he's dead. Sorry, I said that out loud. I don't know. Why did this turn on to me? I don't know how to read your mind. I don't know who you're thinking of.
Are
Are you thinking of white people?
Yeah.
60-year-old white men.
Well, is this guy not white?
Thank you for asking. He is white. You can ask so many more questions. Why aren't you asking questions?
Okay.
Because even if you don't know his name, at least you can be like, oh, is he that guy who plays this guy? And I'll be like, yes.
I'll tell you later who I was thinking about.
Yeah, great.
So am I in romantic comedies?
You have been, yeah.
Am I in a movie that I, Monique, really love?
Honestly, I feel like I need to even look up the full list of movies. But as far as I can recall, you do not love these movies, which is why I feel like you perhaps don't know this guy's name.
Was I a child actor?
No.
Once.
Oh, I found one movie that you might have loved. I loved it as a child that he was in.
Am I a comedian?
I don't think you're a comedian by profession, but you are very funny. This is going to be the entire pod.
I've got to cut a bunch of this out, but just so the listeners know, there are deep silences of me.
Which we're okay with.
Even searching around for a question, you know. All right. Do I have blonde hair?
No.
I assume brown.
Yes, although to be fair, these days, grey.
Well, that's good. He's not like dying into his... Yeah. I feel like women can get away with dyeing their hair.
But men much
can't,
less.
Men can't. Hair maketh the man, and best to embrace. Yeah. Including balding. Best to embrace it. Just to put a bit of hair commentary in every pod.
I feel like we probably give hair advice every episode. And that's okay with me. I'm willing to give that.
Have I ever been in a TV show?
Yeah, definitely.
Have I ever directed? Am I known as someone who gets involved
Not
behind the
particularly.
scenes?
I mean, someone who knows this guy better might be able to tell me otherwise, but I don't personally know him as someone in production.
Can I sing?
I think so. Yes, actually, I have a distinct memory of a particular scene. It's more like a theatrical type of ability. It's not like, wow, the voice of an angel. It's more like, oh yeah, technical ability that is there. Shall I tell you what nationality I am? Oh,
sorry. Do you want me to ask?
So many questions you could ask. You are Scottish.
Scottish? Okay.
But honestly, I feel like you might not remember this guy's name.
It's editing Monique here. I can tell you that even while I'm editing, I cannot remember his name.
You will definitely know his face though. Okay, I'm also going to start telling you some of the random projects he's been in.
Okay.
And you'll have to think, who is the running theme? He was in Black Beauty, 1994. No, he's not the horse. He was in Josie and the Pussycats, 2001. He starred in The Good Wife, that TV series from 2009 to 2016.
Oh.
He was in the second X-Men film. He was in the 1999 Annie.
Oh, that's a terrible Annie. I haven't seen that one.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's his fault.
I actually really love Annie, the 80s Annie.
Yeah, that's why. But I saw this was the 1999. I am in Sex and the City, which I know you love, Monique. I've never seen an episode in my life, nor have you. The one movie that I think you you would have enjoyed, which is I certainly enjoyed. He was in Spice World, 1997, with the Spice Girls.
Yeah, I think I know this man's face. Did he play the, Wait, maybe not.
He was in Emma, 1996, with Gwyneth Paltrow. He was in Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, 1997, there's a particular scene that is brilliant from the end of that film involving this actor. He was in Burlesque with Cher and Christina Aguilera, 2010. He was in Son of the Mask, 2005, a film that no one cares to remember. And last but not least, he was in Spy Kids.
He was in Spy Kids.
2001. I would know this immediately now. And no, it's not Antonio Banderas. That guy's not Scottish, just to remind you. He's also in the Flintstones movie, 2000.
Yeah, that's the movie that I've actually seen out of all the ones you've mentioned. I mean, I've seen Spy Kids, but I know exactly who you're talking about now.
Any idea of the name?
No, I have no idea in his name, but he plays in Flintstones. He plays the rich guy with the slimy
Chip. Is that his
black
name?
hair. And then he plays the love interest in Sex and the City. I'm pretty sure. What's his name? Mr. something? Mr. Big or something?
No, he's definitely not Mr. Big. Definitely not Mr. Big.
What does he play?
But he's also not he's not Chip in, I'm trying to think. He's in Flintstones. He's actually not a major character. He's like a British rock stoner kind of guy.
What?
In the Flintstones. He's wearing like a feathered vest that is the British flag, and he's got like bangs and like your classic 70s rock haircut.
In the Flintstones?
Yeah. Anyway, happy birthday to Alan Cumming. That's who this is.
Alan Cumming?
Yeah. You know him, right?
Yeah.
Good. We should all know who that is. He's a brilliant actor, really. And I'm pretty sure he's done things for stage as well. My favourite thing about this man, though, is a particular interview on Graham Norton. If you haven't seen this, please go to YouTube. Graham Norton, Alan Cumming, Oprah. Just type that in. He kind of talks about the time when he went to an awards show and he took a dear friend of his, would strongly recommend. There's a particular line that gives nothing away. The way that he says, "It would be my dream." I say that with my friend Anne all the time. Whenever we're like trying to say, "Oh, that'd be so good," or something, we're like, "It would be my dream." Happy birthday, Alan Cumming, you 6-year-old brilliant actor who is underappreciated by some in Sydney.
Thank you for that, just for the fact that it reminded me of that Flintstones movie. We had it at my grandma's house. Ash, I have seen that Flintstones movie at least 25 times.
Yeah, good.
At least.
Do you think
Maybe
that that's your most watched film of your life?
No.
What film do you think that is, and how many times in your lifetime do you think you've watched it? Because I know my answer.
I think because it's something that I watched at my grandma's house and I now love and still watch, it has to be Mary Poppins.
Oh, so good. That's like one to be proud of, I would say.
So what's yours?
Well, to link it in with Alan Cumming, just to bring this up, he played Mr. Elton in Emma with Gwyneth Paltrow, which is what I was trying to refer to. My most watched film of all time is Clueless, which is based on Emma. I grew up with both a young mum, but also because her younger sisters are quite a bit younger than her, my aunts have always kind of been like older sisters to me. And they were obsessed with Clueless. Possibly I even saw it before I can comprehend memory. I've probably watched it at least 3 to 4 times every year in my life for the last 25 years, which means we're coming close to 100. And you know what's brilliant about it? I shouldn't liken it to the Bible, but I was going to say much like the Bible, the more you watch it, the more you read into it, it still delivers. It's just so good. The soundtrack's brilliant. The acting's brilliant. It's hilarious. Okay. Definitely Clueless for me.
Do you know my history with Clueless?
No.
Have we ever talked about this?
This sounds like a course at a university, but what is Monique New's history with Clueless?
I've never finished it.
What? I nearly spat out the drink that I dared to sip. Monique, what the heck? Just the other day, people,
Well-
I had to sit down and say, Monique, now we're going to watch Die Hard because she'd never watched Die Hard. What the heck? What the heck?
Well, yeah, and it's really not a comment on the movie. It's just that
I know.
I never watched it. It was never in the family. And so the only context to watch Clueless was when it was playing on TV,
Oh, I see.
which it played regularly, which I'm sure
because
you
it's
would have
so
loved.
good.
Ash loves very few things more than watching a movie on live television
Yeah.
with the ads.
Broadcast.
Knowing that there are other people in their lounge rooms watching the same thing. Ash loves that. It's one of her pastimes. It's something that warms my heart about Ash.
Broadcast media, love it.
Several memories of sitting down to watch Clueless, waking up and falling asleep during bits of it. So I've never finished it.
Well, you know what we'll be doing tomorrow. Actually, not tomorrow. It's Singles Inferno's night. What makes it so good? I think it's so funny that you say you never got to the end, because one of my favourite songs from that film, which for some reason didn't exist on Spotify, another plug for YouTube Premium, thank you,
Amen.
YouTube Music, the song at the end, which then runs into the credits, called Tenderness, by like some no-name British band. But like there's something so joyful, and I cannot stop. Every time I watch the movie, I then get up and dance to the credits, and I'm so happy. And I'm like, it's such a good movie. I say that every time. First thing I say after it ends, it's such a good movie. And then I'm dancing. It's so good. It has to be the nostalgia.
We've been speaking for over an hour and
Oh.
13 minutes. So we're going to cut this down. But I wanted to just finish because you were talking about birthdays today. And today is the birthday of someone that we know.
Oh, Lord. This is
And-
worse than the Alan Cumming thing, because I know this person. Wait, is it cheating to look at Facebook? Can I do that?
No.
Oh.
No, don't look. Someone who knows that this pod exists but doesn't listen to it.
Oh, that's rude. Then I don't feel particularly bad that I won't remember the birthday.
But is a man that we love.
Okay, so a man.
And yeah, it's a man.
A man in Sydney.
Yeah, a man in Sydney.
From SBF?
No.
Okay, from
In
9 a.m.
My orbit.
Oh,
No.
okay. But I also love this man. Is it Charles?
It is.
Yes!
It is
I
Pastor
was
Charles's
like, who do
birthday.
I love from Monique's orbit? It's Charles. And I don't even care that he doesn't listen to the pod, guys. That's how cool Charles is.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
also
how
because
cool
he
Charles
has
is.
a family and he is a very busy man. No one else listening is allowed to get a free pass and not listen to the pod. Thank you.
Well, Pastor Charles, happy birthday. Maybe you will listen to this.
Have you already said it to him in person?
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, I saw him yesterday. We had a big cake. We had one of the biggest cakes I've ever seen.
Oh.
And I've seen big cakes.
And I've
it wasn't
seen
as big as that
cakes.
that presidential cake for the inauguration that Trump cut with the swords. And I think
Okay.
they do that normally, but there's something.
You're gonna be,
yeah, he
you're gonna be
cut.
sending that to me.
He and JD Vance cut it with the special ceremonial sword, which I think is pretty normal. But then they play the YMCA, and he dances. He does this little dance with the sword.
Oh, that's insane.
Da, da, da. Happy birthday to Charles. Charles, we love you. We hope you listen one day. Well, this has been an interesting pod.
There is
Traversing
no
some-
storyline. There's no thread. Is there anything we want to say that will actually be included in the pod to finish this off?
Well, we haven't had an admonishment. In
Oh.
light of what we've been talking about, Ash, is there an admonishment to finish the pod?
Watch Clueless, mate. That's pretty much my admonishment.
True.
My mind is lost now. Oh no, I feel like,
Never doubt your strength in a storm.
yeah,
doubt
that's
your
right. Oh,
strength
that
in a
has so
storm.
many meanings. I like that one.
Yeah,
Deep.
thanks.
Who said we're not Russian?
I just almost tried to do a Russian accent. I'm so glad I
Please
didn't.
don't. We don't want to get cancelled from all our thousands of listeners.
I found out today that Spotify is a Swedish company. Didn't know
you
that.
only found that
Did you know
out
that?
today?
Did you know that it was Swedish?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Oh. It's funny because I feel like it's quite funny, and I don't know how to define it, but there are realms in which you know everything and I know nothing, and then there's definitely realms where I know everything and you know nothing. I feel like this is quite clearly in the realm that I would absolutely know that and you would have no idea.
And now I feel like this is good content for the pod, but I want to cut it out because it shows my idiocy.
No, we all need some of that, you know? We all need some time to laugh at Monique.
That is a major theme of the pod.
Wait, what's your admonishment, though?
Well, that was my admonishment.
I'm not going to lie, I forgot already.
You said it was deep.
So deep that I could not contain it. It's gone out the other end.
So deep
as
down.
some would say. I've realised in this pod, I've probably said, as some would say, 9 times.
To wrap it up.
We're cutting out so much dross. You're welcome, listeners. I didn't do any of this. Thank Monique for cutting out so much of this garbage. Hot garbage.
It's the second time you've said hot garbage in our pod.
But not in this episode.
That's true. To finish us off, we've decided that although I have never heard this song, most likely.
Tenderness.
What is the song?
It's also, what is it called? Okay, but now we're just got to quickly, it's the music gives joy. It's like, oh yeah, I want to dance and be happy and everything's right in the world. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
So you're
Well, they're
welcome.
about to hear it. Mm-hmm. So
Have a dance.
Until next time, we'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.